Hello YouTube, GamerNinja back here again, and this is a different team than before. It's not against anyone spectacular, but I just felt like recording, and I was going to give you one more video as sort of an apology for the lack of content lately. So, here we go. Now, looking at my opponent's team, I basically determined that if he went with Mew, Meloetta could blow it up. If he went with Heatran, Meloetta could blow it up. If he went with nearly anything, Meloetta could blow it up. So I sent in Meloetta to blow stuff up. I actually predicted here that he would go into Mew, predicting my Focus Blast. So I went for Shadow Ball to hit Mew super effectively. And I went for Hyper Voice, because I thought he might switch out again. But unfortunately he doesn't. It's not a big deal in the long run of things. I'll turn down the volume just a little bit. He goes back out into Heatran. I thought he might, but I figured Shadow Ball was still a safe option. But, you know, I miss yet another Focus Blast. There's a reason why we call it Focus Miss in the competitive scene. And right now, Meloetta is just trying to get as much damage down as possible on anything that moves. A Focus Blast hit, it gets poisoned. Not a huge deal on this team. This team is a variation of one of, what's his name? Shoot. Anyway, I'll post the person I just battled in my previous video. I forgot his name off the top of my head. It's been a really long night, everyone. But, yeah. Basically, it's a variation of that. He uses a Cresselia. I personally am using a Mew. I've changed up a few of the EV sets a bit, just to mess around with it a bit, to try different things. But it's a pretty successful team. Anyway, getting caught up, Clefable comes in, Heal Bells, now all my problems are solved with Meloetta. Both of our teams are basically stall-based, but, yeah. I go into Charizard here, because basically I wanted to get an easy Mega Evolution off, and I'm threatening him out with Earthquake, and he knows it, so he goes out into Quagsire to resist anything I do, which was a bit risky if I was, Charizard Y, or Charizard X, I'm sorry, Charizard X, that would have, I could have fired off a Solar Beam. But here I anticipate a Toxic coming in, so I go out to Tentacle to eat it. And so here I basically decide to throw out Toxic Spikes. Now, it's also at about this point that I realize something about his Mew. It has I see the Will-O-Wisp, and I thought, okay, this is a pretty standard Mew set. Whatever, not a big deal. I saw Soft Boiled earlier, and here he reveals he has Taunt. So we know he has Soft Boiled, Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, and Rapid Spin to get rid of rocks to make Charizard's life easier, and he Soft Boils up again, no big deal. I basically just stay in because I'm not really doing much. Oh wait, no, I switch out here. I go out into Meloetta, and it's right here he reveals that he has Defog. So this means I can basically put Mew in the back of my head and not even worry about it, because it has no damage moves right now. It's a crap ton of utility, which is annoying in and of itself, but it doesn't do anything. So as long as I keep Charizard or Gliscor poisoned and or alive, that thing is basically not even a threat. So here he goes into Chestnut. I just decided to set up a substitute because I'm a Gliscor, and that's what Gliscors do. This is a sub-Toxic Protect Earthquake set, and it's as annoying as it sounds. So here he's just setting up hazards. I basically don't really care too much. Even if he gets all the hazards up, I basically wall almost his entire team with between this and Charizard and Mew. So I'm not at all concerned about having some spikes on the field, but I do decide to switch in here, eat the spikes damage. He synthesizes up, no big deal. I just choose to Rapid Spin them all away. Right now. Just to help, again, make life easier. And here he Leech Seeds me. And I am happy I have Clear Ooze. Or Liquid Ooze, not Clear Ooze. Clear Body is the other ability. Liquid Ooze actually coming in handy here. But he sends in Gliscor. I know exactly what he wants to do, so I decided to just set up a layer of Toxic Spikes just to spite him a bit. I probably should have just gone for Scald, but I expected him to stay in, honestly. I was just basically sacrificing it. If he wants to really set up those spikes again, I'll just send in Charizard a bit sooner, but I'm not really afraid. Right here, I send in Meloetta, basically because I know Gliscor is usually physically defensive. So, Meloetta hits from the special spectrum, means I'm going to hit it pretty hard. Here, I anticipated Heatran to come in, but he just decided to protect. Very fine play. I should have seen protect coming, but he could have just switched to mess with me. I'm not at all upset with that play. I bring back in Clefable because it can't really touch me. Earthquake's not going to do a whole lot of damage to me. And I can just heal Bell off every time he wants a Toxic. He brings in Mew, not at all concerned. It's just going to probably defog and soft boiled. So I see no reason not to get my own heal bell off and then fire off a wish of my own to try to heal up my party. I believe that's what I do. Oh no, I just decided to hit the stupid thing. But yeah, the 4 support move Mew is really effective, but just not against a team like mine where I have literally 2 things that completely shut it down. So here I send in Mew to basically annoy this thing and knock off the Eviolite, which is huge. Chansey with that Eviolite is garbage, and a little synchronized play there. But if that's one of the reasons why Eviolite Pokemon are a bit weaker this gen, knockoff got stronger. Now that move right there was, sorry, going off on a different tangent. When he switched in Gliscor, I was actually tempted to open up with Will-O-Wisp, but I figured I might as well just go for the knockoff, and it worked out marvelously here, because Gliscor lost its Toxic Orb, which means it was not going to be able to heal up nearly as effectively. Or at all, actually. Because it doesn't look like he's running Roost. But anyway, knockoff got really strong this gen, so Eviolite Pokemon are a bit weaker. Clefable comes back in. We're all basically just trying to run damage control. He throws up Stealth Rocks again. I fire off Wish. And I'm basically declaring I'm sending in Charizard again. And I'm saying, what do you want to do? And he decides to fire off a Toxic, which is fine. That's a fine move. But now he has to decide what he wants to bring in. So I believe he decides to bring in Gliscor just as death fodder. And I anticipated this and went for Dragon Claw instead of Earthquake. Because I figured if he went for... no person would probably stay in on a Charizard as Heatran, and that Heatran can't really touch me anyway. So I'll have to switch out eventually. Quagsire versus Mew, nothing too exciting. My Mew's just going to use Roost. It's going to get Toxic, which I was so happy when he did that, because that meant that Quagsire's Toxic, thanks to Synchronize. And, I believe here I go for a knockoff. Just to mess up Heatran a bit. No, I decided to taunt so nothing else can get Toxic. That's right. And what happens next? Now I go for the knockoff to knock off the leftovers. He goes for the Lava Plume. That still does next to nothing. By the way, Mew's totally going to be an OU Pokemon very shortly if people realize that it's really good. I go into Clefable. Again, Heatran can't touch me at all. So he goes into Chestnut, and this is a really odd choice. I've already revealed that I have Moonblast, and it's a fighting type, and Moonblast will kill a Chestnut from that health. He goes for Leech Seed. I thought he was just trying to death fodder it off and use Leech Seed to try to heal up something else. But he brings in Heatran, which is interesting, and then he Toxics me, which is fine. So I just go for the Wish, and then I believe I fire off Heal Bell before switching out. He goes for Toxic again, anticipating me just to switch out, but I just decided to Heal Bell off. And here is where I predict him going for Toxic again, and I just go into Gliscor. And for whatever reason, he scoops. He really wasn't getting anywhere against me. I had too many walls, and he was just gradually just running out of options. Quagsire could just get repeatedly poisoned. He had nothing to take down Mew at all. His Chansey had its Eviolite knocked off. Mew wasn't a threat at all. If it came down to it, Heatran would eventually fall between Meloetta and Mew. And Mew would literally beat Quagsire just because I could taunt it so it couldn't use Recover. And he would be forced to either Earthquake spam, in which case I could just Will-O-Wisp. And then I'm faster, so I can use Taunt. And he'll slowly die. Or he can Toxic me. I'll taunt, he loses his recovery, and I'll just use knockoff to just basically equalize the damage. And then even if I do die first, he'll die shortly after, and that'll leave Heatran up against Meloetta, and Meloetta will destroy Heatran with Focus Blast, assuming I hit. And that's not even counting the fact that I still had Clefable, Gliscor, and Charizard, which were relatively untouched. So, yeah, that's this battle, guys. Pretty short battle, again. Well, actually, it's not that short. The other one was shorter. 54 turns. Not too terrible, given the fact that we were both 2 stall teams. I've had battles go up into 200s. Those are a real mind killer. But yeah, let me know what you want to see next. I might be asking you guys for some teams. You can submit them. Just send pokes and movesets to me. Post them in the comments. Do whatever you need to. Send a paste spin of it in the comments. And I'll give them a shot myself. Anyway, this is the GamerNinja signing off.